Yo, what's going on, man? Today is St. Patrick's Day. It's March 17, 2024. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA show. I am live on Twitter, also live on YouTube as well. I think I'm live on YouTube. I think I set it up like that. Might just be Twitter, honestly. I'm not 100% sure. It might just be YouTube, But regardless, we're here for some NBA picks, man. It's a nice, I say it's a lot of games. To me, it's not a lot of great spots, as far as capping the games from a size and total perspective. Seeing these totals starting to go down just a tad bit. And some of the desperation teams in these desperation spots, hopefully they come to play. We'll see how that goes. We just got some breaking news that it looks like Giannis is going to be available to play. He's questionable with that hamstring injury. It looks like Malik Beasley's also going to be able to give it a go today. And that is the early game. We got a 1:10 start time game, and we'll start off there. First, I always like to do a quick recap. I don't have any, I'm not doing, the graphics today, but I did go 2 and 3 on Friday. I gave out 5 plays overall, and a couple of them just I got bit by the hook, man. I lost the Thursday game, Thursday night play on OKC on minus a 7.5, and you got the late free throws from Tim Hardaway Jr. And then on Friday, I got hooked a couple times as well. So I took yesterday off, minus half a unit on Friday. But on the season, you got those are the updated numbers. You guys can see the numbers there. Was pushed, like I said, still trying to push to about double what we got with the playoffs and the rest of the season. So trying to get to about 60 units, but we'll see how it goes, man. We will see how it goes. If you guys do like the show, hit the like button for me if you can. We're going to jump right into it. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, and turn the notification bell on so you guys do know when I go live, especially for a Saturday or Sunday show, a weekend show in general like this one. First game up, we're just gonna jump right into it, man. We got the Suns and we got the Bucks. This is gonna be an interesting game. So you get the line actually open, I think at like 3.5 originally for the Milwaukee Bucks, or 3. You see the money come in on on Phoenix to get this line down to 2. And now Giannis is being rolled in, and of course, as expected, the total is starting to go up. We see it all the way up to 228, and of course, the spread is moving to 3.5 in favor of the Milwaukee Bucks in this game. It's a difficult game because I kind of feel like just based on how both of these teams are playing right now, neither one of them are playing too trustworthy, in my opinion. Phoenix not looking like the greatest team on this Eastern Conference road trip. And this is the reason why I can't play Phoenix. I'll just jump right into it. I can't play Phoenix because I feel like this could be a super. I wouldn't say they're not going to be motivated, but it is a third. It's a third game in 4 nights. Granted, they had 1 day off, but third game in 4 nights, last game of a 4-game road trip, and they're getting in an early start time. Now, granted, they have done well. The Phoenix Suns are 3-1. Straight up and against the spread in these earlier start games this season, earlier start time games this season. But the Bucks are 5-1 straight up, 3-3 against the spread in these earlier start time games as well. Phoenix, they really struggle to kind of take, and I wanted to play Phoenix. I do feel like they are the right side in the game. I know that just because the Bucks come back home and they beat up on a shorthanded Philadelphia team, I'm not willing to trust them. Not against the elite competition. And their offense continues to kind of sputter, in my opinion. Phoenix, from an analytic perspective, you look at this game on paper, and Phoenix, they really struggle to take care of the basketball. Milwaukee doesn't force a lot of turnovers. The Bucks defense has been bottom 5 in the league in all the major categories over the last 2 weeks. We know that they got lit up when they were on that West Coast road trip playing against Golden State, against the Lakers, against the Kings, which I had them in the Kings game. Milwaukee has shot the second most free throws over the last 2 weeks, but Phoenix doesn't foul either. Phoenix offense, I think they have the matchup advantage in the mid-range because the Bucks don't protect it well. The Bucks do like to attack the bucket. They like to attack the bucket, but Phoenix is actually third in opponent accuracy down there as well. They're third in opponent paint accuracy, so they're doing a really good job of protecting the rim. The Bucks been living it down by the 3. Phoenix defense has been pretty good there. As we get breaking news that Jimmy Butler looks like he's going to be out in that game today. But yeah, so just looking at all those things, like I said, Bucks kind of living it down by the 3. Phoenix defense being good there. I think the game means a little bit more to Phoenix because of the playoff seeding. They could potentially be in the play-in spot, whereas it doesn't mean as much for Milwaukee. Milwaukee, they do have a big game against Boston on deck as well. I know it's in a couple days, but that game is coming up. But like I said, the overall reason why I couldn't quite get there is because it's not the greatest spot for Phoenix. Like I said, third game of a 4-game road trip, last game of a third game in 4 nights, last game of a 4-game road trip, and they're on the East Coast in an early start time. And I looked into that. So short road dogs of 3 points or less, playing the last game of a 4-game road trip in a non-conference game. They're actually 0-6 straight up and against the spread this season. 13 and 29 straight up, 26 and 16 to the under since 2018. So Suns also at a rest disadvantage. They have a 1-day rest disadvantage here. So it's a stay away game for me, but I really wanted to get there with Phoenix in this game, especially with them being pretty healthy in this spot. I'm really just not wanting to trust the Bucks either. So I decided to stay away from the game, but those are my thoughts and opinions on this one. I'll catch the comments. Let's see real quick. Let's see what y'all saying in the comments about this one. Paul says, hope all is well. Game time around the corner. Absolutely. What's up, AOD? Appreciate you for tapping in as always. What up, Prolific, my guy? Young Harlow, what's going on, my brother? Let's see. Paul says, let's go, Chris. Only looking at the favorites. Okay. RL says, your cap has helped me cash yesterday, man. Salute. I learned so much. I appreciate that, RL. Appreciate that, bro. I'm glad you've been cashing. Brian says, good morning, Chris. The way referees swallowed the whistle unders in these games today look good. Yeah, I agree. What up to my guy, Justin? What up, Earl? Tasha, appreciate you for tapping in as always. Happy Sunday to you, Tasha. She says she did hit that like button too, and I appreciate that, Tasha. D-Trip says, no, Giannis. No, Giannis look like he is going to play in this one, D-Trip. Paul says, trust the defense of Bucks more than the defense of the Suns. Yeah, that's interesting, Paul. These are two teams that actually have been playing a little bit better defense. Their offense is actually kind of sputtered. I was looking at the under in this game. I really wanted to get there, but yeah, I mean, I just give you guys the numbers real quick. San Antonio. I'm sorry. I got the wrong teams pulled up. Looking at Milwaukee and Phoenix real quick. So Milwaukee's offense is 16th rated over the last 2 weeks. 12th in effective field goal percentage. They aren't turning the ball over, and they're not getting any offensive rebounds. They are shooting the most free throws in the league too. But looking at Phoenix defense, kind of middle of the pack, 17th in points and opponent points scored per 100 possessions, 14th in effective field goal percentage. So right in the middle, they are turning the ball over. Phoenix's defense is not forcing any turnovers at all. And like I said, neither one of these defenses are forcing any turnovers. The Bucks actually rank bottom 4 in forcing turnovers over the last couple of days as well. So the defensive nod actually goes towards Phoenix in this game. Phoenix's defense has been 11th rated, whereas Phoenix's defense has been 17th rated. The Bucks defense has been 25th. And of course, it's going to get a little bit better at home, but I mean, they're getting smoked. So maybe even a Phoenix team total over. When I first wrote the game down before I looked into detailed the spot, I was thinking Phoenix early, because we know Phoenix is one of the worst fourth quarter teams in the NBA. So I think if you like Phoenix, you probably want to catch them in the first half on the money line. Is the way not on the money line. First half plus the points is the way I would look. And then you see this total going all the way up to 229. Giannis points probably not a bad look as well. Probably not a bad look. Tasha says, I said time and time, don't bet against Boston. You did say that. Chad says Middleton back as well. I did see that. He likes the Suns on the money line. Yeah, I play the Suns too, man. Like I said, I don't like the spot, but I'm not trusting the Bucks. What up to my guy S. Dot? Chad says he says Bucks will forever have a starting lineup of 3 traffic cones: Middleton, Dame, and Beasley, and the corpse of Lopez. They have no prayer of defending the Suns. I think I agree with this, Chad. Their defense has been bad, man. Like I said, I just don't like the spot as much. Let's see. GC says, right, I took the Bucks because Suns won their first meeting and only Bucks didn't have the whole crew. Yeah, that was something. I think Dame didn't play in that game. I didn't mention this, but Dame didn't play in that game. I think they were missing somebody else too. And the Suns had a full roster in that game, and they did win that game. Chad likes the Suns first half and full game. Tasha says he's off of this game. Paul says Bucks line growing for a reason, not scared, taking the Bucks due to the defense only. Okay. Fox says Bucks are pass. Butler just got ruled out. I did see that, Chad. Appreciate you for throwing that in. Pimp Highway says player prop you like in Phoenix and Milwaukee game. So Pimp Highway, if I had to play a player prop, I would be looking at Giannis. I think Giannis is probably the best way to go. And the reason is pretty simple. I know that the Suns do a really good job of protecting the rim. However, their transition defense is really bad. I think Giannis leads the league in transition points. I think he's averaging almost like 6 a game. So he should be able to get to the rim. They don't have a lot of paint protection outside of Nurkic. So I do expect Giannis to be able to get downhill. And that's the way I would look to play this one. Probably looking at Giannis over his points. Tasha says spread is suspect. It says take the Suns. It'd be Suns or nothing for me as well. Thomas says great watching your picks. Looking hard today. I'm thinking Clippers -9.5. Best I saw. We'll get there to that game. Not a game that I'm super in love with. Let's see. Suns don't play. They beat ball against the better teams in the league. I consider Bucks an upper level team. They are an upper level team for sure. Chad says, me versus the world, y'all nuts. Yeah, I'd be with you, Chad. If I was playing the game, like I said, it's not something that I bet though. What else? Middleton, Beasley, Dame, Lopez, defender. Yeah, I agree there. What's up, EQ? And Justin. This is probably the other way I'd be looking to play it. Durant. He says Kevin Durant over 25.5 points coming off a 13-point game against the Charlotte Hornets on Friday. I would agree there. Now it's Suns -4. Suns look good. Yeah, I agree. I'm not taking the Bucks to win by margin with their 25th rated defense over the last about 2 weeks. Definitely not doing that. And Austin says any good 3-team parlays. I'm definitely not parlay. I don't parlay. I strongly recommend against parlaying on the weekend. I don't parlay in general, but definitely not on the weekend. All right, so let's keep it pushing on that game for a little bit too long. So next game up, we got Heat and Pistons. Game will be played in Detroit, of course. You see the line come down. 6.5 is what it opened at. It's down to 5 total, dropping from 215.5 down to 214. This is a game I'm not super interested in. Of course, these two teams did just play against each other. They both have a game coming up as well. The Miami Heat have a game. I want to say that game is against the Milwaukee Bucks coming up. Let's see. I know it might be Philly. Let me just double check it real quick because I didn't write it down. I didn't think it was that important to write down. Yeah, they play both teams on the front leg of a back-to-back. Miami plays in Philly tomorrow, and that game probably means a little bit more to them than this game do. They've already beat Detroit 3 times already, and of course they just played on Friday. I was on Detroit in that game, and Detroit just absolutely couldn't score the ball. And I think I see a little bit more of that. I know Jimmy Butler not being there probably doesn't help the Miami's defense, but it also doesn't help Miami's offense. So I'll be looking towards the under in this game too. Detroit actually play in Boston tomorrow, so they got a game tomorrow as well. I think Detroit has a pretty healthy lineup in this one outside of Sir Thompson, who will continue to miss. I know he missed the game on Friday, and Quentin Grimes also listed as out. So Jovic is still listed as questionable. Well, I'm sorry, he's listed as out now too. Him and Jimmy Butler are out. No Tyler Hero, no Kevin Love, no Josh Richardson, of course. So a couple things I looked into as far, like I said, the under was the best play. This actually opened at 215.5 last night. When two teams are playing against each other within a 4-day span, the first game went under, the second game typically goes under as well. 60% since 2013. If you look at that trend specifically after the All-Star break, 65% to the under as well. Miami 9-3 to the under as road favorites, including 6 straight. Detroit 4-0 to the under Detroit is 4-0 to the over after being held under 100 points in their previous game. However, you look at the Miami Heat, I think the stronger trend is that when they hold teams under 100 points, they're 8-1 to the under in their next game as well. So I do think that this is going to be an under-type game. I didn't quite get there. The total is dropping. Doesn't make me want to like it even more, but I do see it coming down to 213.5. So I think under a little bit more than trying to pick the side. I think the Pistons might be tired of winning. The way that they played in that last game, I think they scored like 41 points in the second half. So we know that the Heat going to play at a slow pace. They're going to, I think that they're going to play a little defense in this game. And they could also struggle to score, especially without having Jimmy Butler out there. So I think under is the best play here, but I didn't choose to get involved in this one. Let's see. This is what I said, Charles. He said Suns third game in 4 nights. It's not just the third game in 4 nights. It's the last game of a 4-game road trip and the early start time game as well. Let's see. Chad says if you insist on a parlay, don't do 39 legs, maybe 2 or 3 max. Paul says Miami all day, typically NBA. Butler sits and everyone wants to jump on the Pistons, not doing it. Okay, I can see that. Chad says yes, spot isn't greatest for the Suns. Charles, Bucks can't lay points against a powerful offensive team like the Suns. And this is where I agree, Chad. Like I said, I didn't play it, but we're thinking the same. He said they simply can't guard. Tasha says, feel good now. I took the under 215.5 early. I think that's it as well. Markel says, what's up, bro? I took the Pistons first half money line. And Tariq says he definitely passed on this game. So, yeah, let's keep it pushing. Next game up, we got the Nuggets and the Mavs. Nuggets getting laying 4 points on the road to a Dallas Mavericks team. Yeah, it's 4-4. Actually going up to 4.5. This time it was 3. I think it opened at 2.5. Matter of fact, when I looked at this game like super late or super early this morning, like 1 o'clock this morning. When I started looking into these games, and I like Denver. Money line actually was minus 145 last night. I think you just kind of, I mean, if you wanted Denver, you probably should have jumped in on them. Dallas does well with covering these spreads as home dogs. They don't necessarily win, but they don't get smoked in these games when they're home dogs. I did a couple of things I looked at. So going back to what Chad was saying in the comments, I think it's still applicable in this game as well. I don't want to bet. I know Dallas is a home dog, and I know Denver is due for some regression at a certain point, but when is it going to come? They've been beating up on the good teams in the Western Conference, man. And the same thing we said about the Bucks defense not being great. This Dallas defense has not been great. They're giving up 115.5 points over the last about 2 weeks per 100 possessions, which puts them about 20th. They're also not getting a ton of offensive rebounds. Denver's kind of living in that department. Honestly, just looking at it straight up, while Dallas's offense has been good, they're second best in points scored per 100 possessions and effective field goal percentage. Denver's defense has been just as good. I mean, Denver's offense has been just as good. They're fifth in opponent in points scored, a third in effective field goal percentage. They're not turning the ball over, and yeah, I think it's just. I know Dallas, if you go through and look at it, Denver's been playing against some cupcakes, but they've been beating up on some bad teams as well. Dallas has played the tougher schedule over the last few games, but it's still a third game in 4 nights for them as well. Remember, they only got yesterday off. They had the game against Golden State at home on Thursday. Then on Friday, they had to go to OKC. Saturday, they had off, and then they back at it again today. And, Denver didn't have to travel far. They were in Austin for that game against the San Antonio Spurs, and now they'll be in Dallas. So no, short travel for them. Like I said, they played the easiest schedule, but they've been much better defensively. Dallas shooting nearly 40% from the 3-point line. They've been excellent, and Denver's been excellent guarding the 3-point line since the All-Star break, not giving up a ton of shots there. Denver's still gunning for that number 1 seed as well. I think that comes into play for this game as well. OKC won yesterday. Minnesota won yesterday. So they need to continue to win and stack these wins up. And they got a game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Denver Nuggets do, that's on deck. I think it's on Tuesday. So Denver is the spot here, in my opinion. I know Dallas has been feisty. Also, looking at the injury report, of course, Luka missed that last game. He's questionable with a hamstring injury. He could play in this game, but if Denver has a full squad, they're not really playing too many games. I won't get into all the the trends, but just looking at Denver, they've been winning by an average of about 7 points per game over the last 2 weeks, whereas Dallas losing by about 2 points per game over the last 2 weeks. And like I said, primarily because of their defense. They've not been a great defensive team. So if I had to play this game, I think the 4 might be a tad bit too rich. Maybe you catch it live, but it'd be Denver or nothing for me. I'm not looking towards Dallas with the way that they've been playing defense recently. And if Luka's going to be banged up, he already is not a great defender. It could be a little bit worse as well. So it'd be Denver or nothing for me, but I'll probably play this one live, see if I can get something closer to the money line. Let's see. DJ Prop says, yo, Chris, what's good? Love Luka and Jokic 10 assists each today in their matchup. Chad says he's going to have at least 10 attempts with MP now playing no one near him. Okay, Grayson Allen threes is what he's talking about. Tariq says Nuggets all day. I have to use the Ramadan angle since the game is during the day. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Ramadan Kyrie today. He can't eat during the day, right? It's sundown to sun up, right? Sunset to sunrise. Yeah, okay. Renisha says Middleton and Beasley is back for this game for the Bucks. Tasha says, I did take Denver team total over 116.5. This makes a lot of sense to me, Tasha. But Denver's one of those teams that can win with their defense as well. So it kind of scares me off a team total. I can see them winning this game 114 to 105, 114 to 110. But yeah, I couldn't talk you off if it's going to be an under type game. Chad says, I'm glad they got the Suns at 2.5 and bet them again at 4. Okay, so he's got them twice. Tasha likes Denver. Brian says Denver, they want home court. Absolutely. They want that number 1 seed. Chad says Dallas defense fell off bad. They really did. They really, really did. Paul says never take Dallas at home. So it sounds like consensus would be on Denver in this game as well. All right, let's keep it pushing. Next game up, we got Raptors and Magic. I did make a play in this game. I'll just get straight to it. I took Orlando team total over 113.5 and 114.5 in this spot. I think it did open at 113.5. And it's simply put, when I was looking into this game, or these two teams, of course, just played. We did cash with Orlando minus the 6.5 the other day. I don't see, too much changing in this game. I did see that Jonathan Isaac just got ruled out, which is actually, I think, better for the offense and not for the defense. I think that allows. He's a really good defensive player, really great rebounder as well, and I think that allows, maybe allows for Toronto to be able to score a few more points. But I know I'm not looking towards, Toronto being able to stop anybody. And just simply put, I was looking at Orlando's offense on, at home versus on the road. So over the season, they're scoring about 113.8 points per game, which is just the 6th worst. But you look at them at home specifically, and Orlando has been, a little bit better at the crib. And I think it's let's see, at home. So I put them in the wrong spot. At home specifically, I want to say it goes up to 114. I could be. I don't see it on the screen right now, but just know that Orlando's offense gets a little bit better. I wrote it in my notes. I wrote Orlando's offense gets a little bit better at home than they do on the road. Toronto defense has been one of the worst since the All-Star break and over the last 2 weeks. 26th in opponent points scored per 100 opponent points allowed per 100 possessions, giving up 121 points over 100 possessions. They're 29th in opponent effective field goal percentage, allowing teams to shoot nearly 60% from the 3-point line. And they give up a ton of rebounds, right? I think that's something that we talked about. Their defense is allowing their opponents to grab the 2nd most rebounds. And Orlando, that's exactly what they like to do. They're a really great rebounding team, and they do a good job of limited rebounds. So I think Orlando gets a bunch of second chance opportunities here. Toronto playing at the 2nd fastest pace still, even over the last 2 weeks. So I think that they try to get out and run. That's going to be their best offense. I know that, watching that last game, Quickly didn't have the greatest game, even though Gary Trent Jr. shot the ball well from 3. So I think Quickly will score a few more points in this game. Orlando's also beat this team twice in a row now this season. So you do get that, not that they have I think it could be a tad bit of a letdown spot on the defensive end, but I think Orlando I think that they do score in this game. So I did play their team total over 114.5 as my favorite play in this game. Go stay away from the spread because, man, it's massive now. 12.5 is crazy. It got a lot crazy. I think, the Raptors haven't won a game, and I think over like a week and a half. And I don't expect this one to be too competitive either, but I think it'll be more of a little bit more of an offensive game. That total almost went over in the last one as well. So those are my thoughts on this one. Let's see. Prolific likes Denver first quarter. What's up to my guy, Robert? He says he likes the Celtics. Chad says the Raptors are dead. Robert says Xavier Tillman makes the Celtics look like the best paint protector. Cinco says, Cincy Tino says they were toying with Toronto last game, go up 20 real quick. Yeah, I saw Toronto go up in that game. Brian says Orlando first half at home. If you don't want to worry about it, the backdoor cover. I could see a backdoor cover here. Markel says, let's go. Magic first half. He's on it. So we do sound like we got some Magic first half love. Cinco says, almost happened last game, the backdoor. Yeah, I did see that. Robert says, what's the spread with the Wizards Celtics, please? The spread is 11.5. No, not sure if I'm touching that game at all. Chad says can only look at the Magic, but that's a premium. 12. And I agree. I can't lay the 12 with Orlando, but if they smash Toronto, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Orlando's still a young team. And remember, I talked about this on Friday. The one thing you got to worry about with Orlando is, just them turning the ball over. They're turning the ball over at the second highest rate since the All-Star break. Still continuing to turn the ball over. So that scares me a tad bit. In Toronto, while the defense has been, really, really bad, they are forcing turnovers at the 9th highest rate. When I gave this out on Friday, it was at the 8th highest rate. So that's the only thing that would scare me, but I can't lay the 12 either. It's a tad bit too much. What's up, Mr. Cash Out? Tasha says, Chris, I like the team total you picked. Yeah, that's the way I chose to play this one. Tariq says he likes Orlando first half as well. Mr. Cash Out says, I like the over in the Magic game. Yeah, I like the over too. Cinco says, Cincy says, correlated 4-teamer, Magic under, Boston over. Okay. All right, let's keep it pushing. Next game up is that Celtics game versus the Wizards. I don't have much on this game. I think, looking at the injury report, there was enough to kind of keep me off of this one. Boston, I don't think that they're going to take this game serious. They could care less. They're going to be a DC playing against the Wizards. They're laying 11 points to a Washington Wizards team that's on the second leg of a back that got smoked in Chicago yesterday. Porzingis is out. Derek White is out. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum both listed as questionable in this game. They could all force it, and they probably still win this game by double digits. Tyus Jones didn't play in that game yesterday, and you see him have a major impact on the Washington Wizards, who only scored 94 points. Now they're playing against a much better defense than the Boston Celtics. But we got to remember, Boston has already beat the Washington Wizards. And I think this is something that, not that the Wizards are going to keep this game competitive at all, but, Boston has beat this team already twice this season. I'm not sure how much they really care about this one. They play tomorrow as well. Boston got the game. They actually fly from D.C. back to Boston in a game against the Washington Wizards. So this will be a game in a game against Detroit Pistons. Then they got a game against the Bucks on deck. Boston has been covering these numbers, 8-2 against the spread and straight up in their last 10. I'm not interested in this game, man. Washington has been god awful. They've lost their last 3, haven't covered any of the spreads. All of the losses by double digits. They lost yesterday by 29. Got smoked by Houston by 14, by 16. I'm sorry, and then lost by 12 against a depleted Memphis team as well. So. I'm not interested in this game, man. Best of luck to you guys. Definitely want to know the status of Tyus Jones, though, if you wanted to play this game. Also, Denny Avdia. Without those two guys, this offense could really, really struggle. Also, Landry Shamet is still listed as questionable as well. So I'm not interested in that game. A game that I did play, though, we got the Nets and the Spurs, neutral site game. I think this game will be played in Austin still. So the San Antonio Spurs played the Denver Nuggets in Austin just a couple games ago. I'm sorry, just last game on Friday. And I like the Spurs here, man. I see I spelled the word total wrong. I put the A and the L in the wrong spot, but I took the Spurs here. It's not a super big play, but I just feel like it's a spot play. You got the Brooklyn Nets, and it's a line movement play as well. So this is where I start. The Spurs have only been a favorite 4 times this season, and they're 3-1 straight up and against the spread. This season as a favorite. The line movement is crazy in this game because it's moved 7 points in just a little over a month. These two teams just played. Brooklyn was laying 6 at home, and they covered by 14. They beat the Spurs 123-103 in Brooklyn. And now this game opened at San Antonio as a 1-point favorite. I think it's pretty telling. I think the line is it's moved a lot in their favor. Like I said, 7 points. And if you can't count the extra point of the money coming in on San Antonio has actually moved 8 points. In Brooklyn, it's a super flat, dead spot. Granted, they haven't been winning. They got smoked yesterday against the Indiana Pacers, and it probably, happened. I'm not saying it's going to necessarily happen again, but I do think San Antonio can win. If San Antonio wants to win this game, they can win this game. Put it like that. San Antonio's just 14-53 on the season. And granted, it's supposed to be a home game. They're 7-24 in their home games, just 3-7 against the spread, 3-7 straight up in their last 10. But Brooklyn hasn't been good. We know that they suck on the road. They're 10-23 on the road, 11-21 against the spread on the road. They've been one of the worst, the least profitable teams. They have dominated the head-to-head matchup, winning 8 of the last 10 and covering 7 of the last 10 spreads. But this team has been bad, man. Outside of that win against the Cleveland Cavaliers, the recent win it was actually last Sunday as well. They did go into Cleveland and beat Cleveland. Cleveland was extremely short-handed in that game. They're 1-4 straight up outside of that. against the spread and straight up. Lost to the Pacers, got smoked. Lost to the Orlando Magic, got smoked. Lost to the Charlotte Hornets and the Detroit Pistons. And all 5 of those games were on the road. And that's another reason why I like this spot, because it's the last game of a 6-game road trip for the Brooklyn Nets. Second leg of a back-to-back, last game of a 6-game road trip. And like I said, just 1-4 straight up and against the spread in their last 5 games. I know laying points for San Antonio is crazy. I took them on the money line, -125. Like I said, still not a super heavy bet. Like, I'm not going super crazy on the San Antonio Spurs, but I do feel like they're a better team in this spot. And I'll fade Brooklyn on the second leg of a back-to-back, last game of a 6-game road trip. I feel like San Antonio is favored for a reason. So I did take the Spurs here. Let's see what you guys are seeing here. And I didn't even go back to the Wizards game. Let's go back to that Wizards game real quick. Big Cash Glizzy says Knicks game was fixed last night for sure. That game was absolutely fixed. You talking about the Kings could not get a call? I didn't have $1 on the game, so I couldn't care less. But Sabonis literally looked like he was in a boxing match. The way his face looked like he got punched so many times last night and slapped. And yeah, that was absolutely a fixed game last night for sure. I don't know which referee had money on the Knicks, but yeah, the Kings don't score 98 points out. The Kings didn't score 100 points, and it's because they were getting hacked left and right. I watched the whole game. It was bad, especially in the second half. Fox 5 says he likes the Wizards +11. Best of luck there. Chad says he's not betting that Wizards game, and I'm with you. Cash Out says I'm a Wizard fan, and we losing by double digits. Shouldn't have even said that out loud. Chad says, wow, you need a new team, bro. LA Mackin likes the over in that Celtics game, over 228.5. I did see that total drop, I think, from 232. Paul says he took the Celtics first half to keep it going. They've been the best first half team, and it should have just been an auto bet, honestly. You'd be up a lot more money. Justin says the Celtics team total over 19.5 is on his card. He don't care who plays in the game today. Let's see. Paul says Wizards cover better on the road. Yeah, they're terrible at home as a dog, especially on the second leg of a back-to-back. Charles says, I kind of like the over in this one. Cash Out says, I know Calvin was born. All right, what else? Charles says he likes the Spurs. Tariq says he's on the Spurs. Chad says Spurs first bet I made on the board. Okay, so we got some San Antonio love. Paul says Celtics on St. Patrick's Day seems like a given. Mr. Cash Out says 200 of us. Let's help Chris out with the likes. I appreciate that, Mr. Cash Out. Shouting out the like button. If you guys can hit the like button, help the algorithm, helps get more people in here, and it's greatly appreciated. I do appreciate you guys. Grateful for the community, man. Paul says Spurs only look for me. Only look for me is what you said. Markel says, can I get Wemby blocks and steals? This should be a good look today. Paul also says, I took the Bucks only line movement. Just my thoughts on the game. Man, Chad says, I hate big fades. I gotta fade the Hawks. We'll get to that game in a second, but I don't have much on it. Isaiah says, nah, Knicks just play good hard defense. Nah, that won't good hard defense. I like good hard defense, Isaiah. I just made some money with the Knicks, taking their team total, that Portland team total under. But Sacramento, boy. If you go back and watch the game, I don't know if you had a chance to watch it, and you might be a Knicks fan, but I'm a realist. They were killing Sabonis. They were killing Malik Monk. They were killing everybody. Everybody was getting killed last night, man, for Sacramento. So we disagree there. Daniel says, can you look up how Kyrie Irving does in days of Ramadan? I probably could find a way to SDQ list. If you DM it to me on Twitter, Daniel, I'll look it up. I don't want to hold the show up. What up, Free Sauce? Appreciate you, Isaiah. He says he liked and subscribed. Tasha says the Hawks are trash. Maurice says Wemby over his rebounds. That's probably a good look in this spot as well. Also, the other thing I want to mention is this. I don't think I wrote this down, but one thing we know, I looked into it. I just didn't write this down. The Brooklyn Nets attempt about 40% of their shots either above the break three or corner three. The San Antonio Spurs have actually been one of the best, I think the best three-point defense over the last 2 weeks in basketball. Don't look now. I'm not sure how it happened. Jason Tatum got ruled in. Jaylen Brown ruled out. Breaking news. Jason Tatum in, Jaylen Brown out. So yeah, that team total, Wizards probably give up 300 points today, man. Wizards probably give up about 300 points today. Let's see. Cash Out says Monk got tackled out of bounds and got called for a foul. Yeah, that was the one with Josh Hart. I watched. I was locked in on the game yesterday. I didn't have, like I said, I have a bet, but I was thinking to myself, God damn, I'm glad I didn't take San Antonio. I'm glad I didn't take Sacramento. Tasha says she likes the Spurs in the first half. Marie says she likes Kyrie over 4.5 assists. What up, 3-time? Charles shouting out the Tatum and Brown news. And Chad says Ramadan hype overrated, doesn't affect much if you eat sunrise and sundown. And I agree with this as well, Chad. I definitely agree. And it's also not like the first time, right? First time around, like it could be difficult, right? And it could have a little bit of an impact. Kyrie is, more mind over matter, in my opinion. I don't think it affects him as much. All right, last game, and I got to get up off here. I didn't think I was going to do a 40-minute show today. I thought this was going to be like 25 minutes, but I did want to go through the comments. Love interacting with you guys, and I appreciate you guys for bringing all the angles up as well. Just kind of talking the games out. So last game up, not a game that I'm interested in betting. It's last game on the board, and this game doesn't start until 9:30, so you definitely want to wait for the injury report here. I took Atlanta on Friday, man. I took them, they've been favorites twice against Portland and to start the Western Conference road trips against Portland and against Utah, and they couldn't get it done in either one of those games. Bogdanovich didn't play in that game. I think he is going to be back. He's listed as probable. You're still going to be without Sadiq Bey, Trae Young, Onyeka Okongwu. And on the opposite side, you got the Clippers. They have Harden listed as questionable. Of course, he didn't play in that last game. And Westbrook's still going to miss time. And you got Norman Powell listed as questionable. I don't like the Clippers as much without Norman Powell coming off the bench. This team, and you also want to wait on the status of James Harden. He definitely impacts that offense a lot. Now, PG and Kawhi not on the injury report, and that's probably why you see such a strong line here. So looking at Atlanta, they've lost the last two, and this will be the second matchup. They played. I don't know if you guys remember, but they played on February the 5th. It was a Hawks spot, and the Hawks actually were like heating up at that time. But it was the last game of I think it was like a 7-game road trip for the Clippers, and they still went in there and won that game 149-144. I think it was the second leg of a back-to-back after they played the Heat as well. And they won that game, and they've covered the last two going back to last season, and they won the last two. I don't want to lay 10 points with the Clippers just because they haven't necessarily looked that great. But the Atlanta Hawks are that thorn in my side, man. Every time I think I'm supposed to back them in the spot, I tried to back them against Brooklyn. Remember on February 29th, I took them against Brooklyn. They got smoked. They lost that game by 27 points. Now they're catching, almost 10 points here. I don't know if they got enough. If they get Bogdanovich back, that'll help. But they'll in order for me to bet them, they would need to get Bogdanovich back, and the Clippers will have to rest Norman Powell, with that ankle injury. Or they would have to, is it an ankle? I think it is an ankle, right? Let me just double check that. Yeah, it's a leg injury for Norman Powell. They would have to rest him. I would need Harden out. It's a gross game in my opinion. Not something that I'm gonna play. Maybe dive a little bit deeper after we get more information on a player prop or something. Atlanta got another game tomorrow against the Lakers, so that'll be the third game of a 4-game road trip. Then they got the Phoenix Suns a little bit later in the week as well. I think on Thursday. Before they head back home and host Charlotte at the end of the week. And then for the Clippers, first game back home off a 2-game road trip, a standalone home game. They actually go to Portland for back-to-back games coming up, I think, on Wednesday and Friday. So not the, nothing that really sticks out here. They are coming off, a loss against the Pelicans. They were a little short-handed in that game, and it was the second leg of a back-to-back. The Clippers don't look like I'm not going to say that they don't want to, win the West, but I think they're probably out of it. With just the way that they've been kind of going back and forth between wins and losses. They're just 5-5 straight up in their last 5 games. They haven't looked that great since the All-Star break in general. Just like I said, winning, losing. Now you expect them to win by double digits. Not something that I want to put my money on. So those are my thoughts. I didn't play anything at all. But in that game, but like I said, I did 2 plays for me. I took Orlando team total over, and I took the San Antonio Spurs on the money line. Let's see what you guys are saying here before we get up out of here. Romtown says, how do I sign up for the subscription that gets us access to Chris Picks? You already signed up, Ronnie. I see the little symbol beside your name. I sent these out right before I started the show earlier this morning. So maybe about 45 minutes ago, I sent these plays out. But the link is in the description if you want to sign up. You get access to all my plays. It's like $4.99 a month, $5.99 a month, $5.99 a month. Tasha says, I took the Jazz versus Atlanta. Nice hit. Yeah, I took the opposite, and I was sick, especially when Bogdanovich got ruled out. Super says he likes Bone Hollins over his points in this game. RL says he took the under 225.5 last night. It is down to 221. I didn't even look at the total, especially with the injuries. Swag Shop says likes Brooklyn. And Justin says, great show. Appreciate it. Now, I appreciate you for tapping in, Justin. Appreciate all you guys for tapping in, man. Like I said, 2 top bets for me today. Hey, what my guy Chad at? He said he bought in on that 4. That 4 is gone for Phoenix. So a lot of people bought that back down to 3, even with Giannis being rolled in. Game tips in about an hour and 10 minutes. But yeah, other plays that I'd be interested in. Miami, Detroit under the 214. I do think that's a pretty good look. Denver and Dallas, I'll be looking for Denver live. I don't want to lay the 4. I do think that if you wanted to get involved, you should have got the -2.5, -3 at open. It wasn't something that I got, just wasn't, in a place to handicap the games at that time when the numbers were available. Like I typically am. Had a long Saturday. My son just started soccer and we just doing a lot of soccer stuff. So, and then Toronto, Orlando, like I said, I did play that Orlando team total over. You see the total going up. Hopefully that's good for us. And Boston, Washington. Like I think Justin said it in the chat. I'll be looking at Boston team total over, especially with Jason Tatum in. Washington defense is non-existent. And that's all I got for you guys. Just 2 top looks, but honorable mention would be Miami, Detroit under, and a live play on Dallas if you can get them close to -2.5, maybe even on the money line if Dallas starts the game hot. So those are the ways that I would look. I appreciate everybody for tapping in, man. I'll be back. May even do a night show tonight. I got to check and see what we got on the board for tomorrow. But if not, I'll be back to doing the morning shows tomorrow. Like I said, I had to take the day off yesterday because it was just rough. I had a rough Friday, a rough Saturday, getting hooked, I think, on 3 of like 5 bets. So it happens. We'll get it back. But I appreciate everybody for tapping in and rocking with me throughout. Hit the like button for me on your way out if you found the show helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, and turn the notification bell on so you guys do know when I go live. Best of luck to you guys today, man. Enjoy your Sunday. And I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. I'm out.